We're going to build the wheel. We're going to look at 3 new skills to do this: project geometry, midplane extrusion, and circular pattern. I'm looking at the intro to CAD modeling, and we're going to start with this drawing right here. All right, it's just 4 concentric circles. So we'll start with that, and then we'll come back and take a look at the dimensioning on it. Okay, so interesting dimensioning here. I think we keep in mind that these dimensions do come from measurements of a real object. That's why we're not looking at diameters, but often thickness here. So the first thing we have is actually this second circle has a diameter of 0.44, and then the thickness between that and the inner circle is 0.05. All right, the distance from circle 2 to circle 3 is 0.35, and then we get that 0.05 between the third and fourth circle. All right, after doing that, that has now made the fourth circle the third circle. Probably the easiest thing to do is just delete that and put another circle to the outside of it. All right, we're going to extrude the 2 rings, and we need to extrude them 0.57. Okay, the next thing we want to do is extrude sort of this center region here. And we'll get to use project geometry to do that. So if I try it right now, there's no sketches for me to extrude. So we'll put a new sketch on either ring. All right, now notice because I selected the outer ring, those lines are in yellow. I don't get the same thing here. All right, so in order to make basically the object, the geometry from the previous object available on the current sketch plane, I can use project geometry. All right, and that will take any geometry from a previous sketch plane and project that onto the current sketch plane. All right, so now that I've done that, I now have the region I want, which is this donut region here in the middle. All right, that is defined. And I can select that for an extrusion. Now this is a mid-plane extrusion, so that's this option here. All right, that will extrude it in both directions. All right, but I don't think we want to extrude at 0.57. Yeah, it's 0.05 for the extrusion. Okay, now to create this pattern here, all right, what we're going to do, what they suggest we do is make a circle and trim that circle. So it's basically the same process as making an arc. This dimension is listed at 0.25 there. we'll see when we take a look at this. So I'm going to do a circle. I'm going to put the center point right here. All right, if I dimension the circle to 0.25, all right, you can see that's too small. So what I assume is that was dimensioned after the trim, in which case it's showing a radius, so that the diameter should actually be 0.5. All right. Now we don't want this top part here, so we're going to use the trim tool. And I'm going to select the geometry I want to trim, and what it'll do is it'll trim it to the next two intercepts of other geometry. So if I click up here, it will go from this point to this point. It will get rid of that. If I were to click down here, it would get rid of the lower half of the circle. All right, now you do see the circle appears to continue up here. That's just the dimension line from before. Okay, so that's not actually part of the circle. Okay, the last thing I want to do to this circle is actually close the loop. So right now I basically have this arc here like a U. I want to close that region so I'm able to extrude it. All right, so I'm going to put an arc from that end to this end, and then the center point just goes right in the middle. Okay, and now I have a closed region here. Right. Now I want to repeat that going around. The easiest way to do that, and this is a very helpful tool, is the circular pattern. Okay, so first thing it's looking for is what geometry do we want to do a pattern of. So those two arcs we just put in, that's what we want to make a pattern of. Okay, which axis do we want to revolve it around? So if we select this center point, we can imagine an axis coming out of the screen at us. So we'll select that. And then how many of them do we want? In this case, we just want 5. Finish sketch, extrude, and we're going to select cut. All right. In this case, we could do a distance of 0.05, which is the thickness we extruded. We could do all. We'll just keep it at a distance of 0.05. Select those 5 regions. And let's finish it off by just changing the color here. How about chrome polished? Okay, and we'll save that, and the wheel is all finished.